I had a client request letters from me, and of course I told her that I had them already, even though I didn't. I do have almost 20 letters in my inventory that I've already built, but all of these letters I had to make. So I woke up really early, and while I'm a morning person, I do not like being cold, and it was about 29 degrees this morning. But the first stop was Home Depot, and come along with me and I'll walk you guys through how I make my marquee letters that you can rent or buy from me. First thing you want to do when you get to Home Depot is secure one of these lumber carts. This is what it looks like, and it's kind of crazy to push, but this is a game changer. I use a 1/2-inch sanded plywood for my projects, especially these letters, which keeps them nice and sturdy and strong, but unfortunately they were out of it at the bottom, so I looked up and noticed that it was up top, so I just had to get someone to come over and get it down for me. After I had them cut down the wood so that way I can fit it in the van a little bit easier, I went over to get some paint. And even though I did just get white paint, I always have them shake it up because sometimes it settles while it's sitting on the shelf. Then it was time to load. Again, you guys have watched my videos. You know this is my least favorite thing to do, is to load and unload lumber. But somebody's got to do it. So all right, here's what you need to get started. You're gonna need a yardstick or a long ruler, and then you're gonna need a measuring tape, and then you're gonna need a pencil sharpener. I like this one because it holds everything and it has a big fat eraser on the end of it. And then you're gonna need a L square, or I just do this to make a straight line off the edge. I think that's what it's called. And then you're gonna need just a number 2 pencil. All of my letters are 3 feet high by 2 feet wide. So the first thing I do is divide the board. I have them cut it when I'm in the store again so it can fit easier in the van, but it also helps me so that when I get home, I can just make one cut down the middle, and of course the cuts around the outsides. To keep all of my letters and numbers uniform, all of them are 5 inches wide. So the letter is going to be 5 inches in width, not the full letter, but just the border I don't really know how to describe that, but you guys will see in a minute. I started with the B, and this is me measuring everything out and drawing the lines that I will then go by to cut. Next, you want to grab your jigsaw with a wood blade on there. I like to replace it between making letters to make sure that it's nice and sharp. And you just want to go into those lines that you cut to cut out your letters from the plywood. To get the inside of those letters cut out, you want to use a drill bit. I have no idea what this is called, but it's a 7/8 width, and it has a little spiral on the end that starts the hole, and then it has those little teeth on the outside that helps to, I guess, keep it clean. I don't know, but it's amazing. And you want to make sure you have your drill on 2 instead of 1, so that way it goes through really quickly and you don't have to put a lot of force into it. Doing these letters is pretty treacherous on my shoulders and my arms and my wrists, to be honest. So anytime I can make it a little bit easier or faster, then I definitely do that. So now we can go through and cut out the inside of that letter. I do curves around the edges, and then I go back and clean up that 90-degree corner. Yay. All right, 1 is done. I have 3 more to do. I'm writing the word baby. So because I have this B, it's easier just to do the next B, and I just trace this one and it works perfectly. Next up, we're gonna get into this A and the Y. So again, I divide the board in half, and then I start making my lines for my letters. I kind of know the measurements at this point so that they are all uniform, but it still takes a little bit of mapping out to make sure that I get the proportions correct. Once I have all of my letters cut out, I go through with a sanding block and sand down all the edges. Next, I use my table saw to cut smooth 4-inch borders for all of the letters. I use the leftover wood that I had from the plywood letters and I make strips. I try to use all the pieces that I can so that I don't waste any of the wood. Next, I take those borders and I measure the letters, and this is gonna determine the width of that border. So I'll mark it, go over to my other table saw and I'll cut it, and then I'll go through and I'll use a nail gun with brad nails to attach it to the letter. Once the border is on, this is what they look like, and they are ready to be drilled for holes as well as painted, but Rocco was taking a nap in the van. He's so cute. So next we go in and I use a measuring tape to make holes equal distance apart with that same circle drill that's the same width as the lights that I'll be putting through the back at the end of the video. Once I have everything marked, I go through with a thin drill bit that's just to make a hole in the wood so that I know where to push through on the front. If you use that circle hole drill bit from the back, it's gonna leave the front wood really damaged and I don't really know, it looks messy. So I always drill from the front to the back so that way it has a nice clean look. And I place it up on weight so that way I can go through with the drill and not drill into the table. So now I'm taking off that regular drill bit and putting on my circle drill bit and just going through all of those pre-drilled holes to make a circle hole. I do sand the letters again and vacuum them out, and then I get them ready for paint. Every letter gets, or number gets, 2 coats of white paint. Before you come for me, I do normally use a roller. I just didn't have one and I didn't feel like going to the store to get one. So I also have a paint sprayer, but I had a brush on hand and so I just used the brush. Next, we're going to be adding lights. These lights are so annoying. I don't know who invented this package, but they all come screwed through this cardboard that you have to unscrew every single bulb just to get them detached from the back of the light. It's very annoying, but once I do that, I go ahead and push the back part through and I screw it in, and then I go through and staple the cords just to make sure that they are secure. And I do this for every letter. I also added stands to each of these that you'll see in the end, and then handles so that it's easy to carry them around. This is what they look like when they're done. So beautiful. And this is with the lights on and then the lights off, so they will light up either way. My client wanted me to add a tabletop so that she could put desserts on top of the letters. And then I also offer the service to deliver and pick up the letters. So this is me setting them up. These are the stands to make sure they don't tip over. And this is what they look like in the space with the table on top. And this is what it looks like once she had all of her beautiful desserts. Thanks for watching, you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe.